Okay, so last time on the Cyclist Tactics I confirmed what I suspected and easily took the lead in the Vista Hetvesia, and now we've just got to defend it. What makes me confident to say that we'll win is that Herman is not well suited to sustained efforts. 8 attack per turn, but only 15 base attack points versus our 19, and with our major peak it becomes 23 versus 17. And now comes the long grind to the finish. It's not particularly steep except for at this point. There is also a downhill in the way splitting the two climbs. Door is open to attack again, but I think given the shallowness of this climb, don't want to get unstuck from the main pack. I have a feeling it is going to break up now though. Oh, it didn't? Well, now I'll go because it's a 3 extra 7 movement. Okay, maybe it's only a temporary extra 7 movement because they are going to get the 14 on the next turn. But still, this is a pretty slow move considering we're so close to the end. And I see that Weiss is making an attack now, but they're about to find out that this is bad news because Watson has landed on this 7. My one concern is what this means for Watson tomorrow, but we came in a time of 21.86, almost half a turn ahead of Weiss. And that extends our gap to 1.96 turns with a couple of slightly easier stages coming up to offset the fact that we are 11 energy down on Weiss now. Of course, easier in the Vista Hetvesia still means a first category climb in the middle, but the flat section afterwards, it would not surprise me if the peloton uses it as a chance to recover. This ended up being more of a false flat than a true chance to recover, so still a fair few tired legs. Watson only on 50 energy, but that's all we're going to need as there's only a few turns to go to the finish. And I was actually hoping there'd be a chance for Pavlov to get away today and win the stage, but so far that's not happening. And since we don't want to lose time with Watson either, he's kind of forced to be the lead out because Watson has to be in this front group. Though on the plus side, it lets Pavlov claim another 3 mountain points, though he would have gotten 7 had I just attacked earlier in the stage. Oh, I thought I was third wheel in this finishing group, but for some reason, the re-maneuvering, they've let me have the rear wheel and the stage win. So I'll have to check how many more green jersey points are available, but it's not out of the question that we can clean sweep this. Oh yeah, there's another flat finish coming up. All Watson would have to do is score at least 4 points in that one. Whatever truce there was in P0 last stage is broken now. These moves up these climbs have been quite hectic considering how early into the stage we are. Not much to talk about otherwise. Because the group was in such a hurry to get to this final test, only Watson is really in a position to challenge for us. Which is unfortunate, as I was hoping that either Pavlov or Rouse would get another chance at a stage win. Pavlov can still do some good work like he did last stage. That is, unless the Weiss attack is so strong that he can't even follow it. The only rider who can is Watson. Bit of a short move from Weiss. I could latch on, but then we'd be playing cat and mouse and it's only 1 point of slipstream anyway. I'm just going. Weiss's ammo turned out to be landing on this 12 node so we could then get a good jump into the finish. Problem is this is much closer than a finish, so even if he doesn't even catch up to us, it's 0.27 turns again. And I know this would really frustrate me if I was playing as Meadow Meister Milk, because Weiss is not making particularly bad moves, it keeps happening. I am always right there, and I'm always just that little bit stronger, because once again Weiss only has base 15 attack points and effective 17. No high mountains today, but it's still classified as a hilly mountain because of a lack of flat nodes, and the tip of the spear once again rode the first climb very quickly. So I just realized that I did the first hour of this particular recording on my old headset, which means I have no way of knowing whether or not the audio is okay until after I finish. And here we go. Weiss is sick of trying to beat me heads up, so he's going to try and do the breakaway while I'm still back in P3. We're going to have to start moving up now. But they're not going to get very far because Ralph still had a lot left in him and went to close it down right away. After that, Weiss went into P0. He's given up on the idea of gaining time on Watson, so he's just going to try and win the stage. Only for him to max attack in a situation where Watson would have only been able to reach this node ordinarily. So you're just giving me a 3 pass once again by entering the relay and then not tactically playing the sprint. And what's going to happen instead here is that Weiss is going to run out of attack points. Watson still has plenty in hand. Okay, Weiss was able to win the stage, but I was okay with that. And that breaks a run of 3 straight stage wins for Watson, as this tour has quickly become the Herman tour, because it's Herman versus Herman. And now we have a time trial, and you spend most of this particular time trial going downhill, but a true all-rounder will end up winning because there is this mountain and flat section in the middle. And we might be seeing Ward on the podium here because we can reach the finish line next turn if I move him to here. Depends on... Oh, never mind. Watson can go further. And that means the favourites prediction was correct. Sufi did win it. We put in a pretty good time, all things considered, with Herman. And Ward, since he's not going to be successful either way, we can actually try and save some energy. All the while, Weiss really struggled in that final sector. I think he ran out of attack points. That dropped him down to 16th and opened up the gap to 2.5 turns. I think Hetvesia picked a very good final stage here. None of the super high mountains, but its lengthy and technical zones in the downhill will make it difficult to recover. It would be nice to be able to repay Pavlov for relaying for Watson on several occasions with a stage win. And it looks like we're going to get that chance. They tried to stop short of the mountain. I had Ward override that with a bigger pull. And Pavlov can just about hang in there, but unfortunately I think Weiss is just too strong. We might as well still try it with Watson and hope that Weiss runs out of attack points first. I'll make the slowest move possible that prevents Weiss from overtaking me, because I realise that I can't beat Weiss by simply draining him of all of his attacks, so we need Pavlov to be able to sprint over the top of him after the fact. We might be in some trouble though, because that last move dropped Pavlov to 5 energy per turn, and because the problem for us is that Weiss's max move is also Pavlov's max move, but if we try and make that move ourselves, Weiss is going to get slipstream off of it. I'll just show you what's going to happen. Yeah, we don't win out. So, in summation, there was probably a combination of moves there that would have allowed Pavlov to win that stage. Even so, we get the yellow jersey, we get the red jersey, Pavlov also gets the runner-up in the mountains, and a few points here and there thanks to podium finishes. Which somehow doesn't get us a level up with Watson or Pavlov, but Rouse has leveled up in time for the Murano trophy. That'll be very useful. I'm going to try and fit the Murano trophy into this episode too, because my plan for the Gazmir is to compress it into a single episode, because I don't think we're realistically in contention for the yellow jersey there, so might as well gloss over that and get to more interesting races. I don't know what to do with Cedric Rouse right now. Can't go wrong with an extra point in recovery. I won't take him much further than 3 recovery though. These scouting results lately, they suck. I'm gonna have to go all the way down to someone who, yeah, I mean, he's probably not going to get on the team at all, but I got to shortlist someone. We're keeping track of who wins the other major tours as well here. Bruce Phillips. Just goes to show that you don't need to be a climber to win this particular tour. Which actually doesn't bode well for us if the plan is to do the Great Plains and Gazmere double with Watson next season. But we'll get to that when we get to it. Here, it's for Cedric Rouse. This is another race where the rest of the relay wants to make it as difficult as possible. Kramer, I didn't think he was going to get dropped this early, but he's gone. But it's not going to get any slower after the crest either, because there's already an attack, even though this was another massive move. It could just be that me having no mountain guys in this race is distorting my view of what a big move is. So I suspect if we're going to finish here, we need to take a risk of letting the peloton go for this inefficient move, and then hoping we can quickly claw back on. And this means I have to both pilot the peloton to a decent node so that we don't let the breakaway get too far, but not so far that Ward cannot complete the catch and keep Rouse in this race. And Campbell's completely out of juice here. It would have been nice to have received some help from these other riders, but the group in front is so big that none of them want to pull because everyone is represented. The good news though is that we've bridged across with Rouse just in time for the race to completely explode. The bad news is that we don't have any energy left. Should still be able to get a top 5 finish out of this though. We're just riding each other's wheels and a big group stops short of this climb while we still can get over it. And now the finishing turn. I've been a complete leech with Rouse, but I may be able to steal it right at the end because there's still enough slipstream that might not necessarily need a lot of points to get to the finish. Oh, yikes. They went so hard that I would need a 0.8 move and I can only do a 0.7. The race was one move too long for me to be able to do something. I did in fact need the energy boost for Rouse, and I will remember that for levels 8 and 9. And as for Ward, why can't I add velocity in this situation? I have 3 attack points left. The -2 to sprint only drops my attack per turn to 5. I should be allowed to... I was going to remark that perhaps this route was too mountainous for a hilly classic for a non-climbing team to really do well here, but actually the winner of this race didn't have any mountain points either. He had 2 in downhill, so I guess that compensated because he was actually recovering energy still on these technical zones, whereas we weren't quite able to. I still don't know quite what we're doing at the Gazmere though. I'm thinking stage hunting because Watson and Pavlov can win individual stages with their +2 in mountain, but over a sustained tour I'm not liking their chances without any kind of fitness peak.